There's a lot said about AI and how it's going to eliminate a lot of jobs, a lot of white collar jobs, a lot of jobs where college educated people will go to work or have careers going in fields, that use a lot of data, a lot of systems. And I would say that absolutely AI is going to change everything. All software systems are going to change and they're going to be better. They're going to be much better. The way that we run businesses is going to improve drastically. We're going to have AI agents as part of our business process and really part of our lives, and it's going to make businesses more efficient. I'd like to say that AI is a huge opportunity for employees, and some people may feel that it's an opportunity, but maybe are a little bit nervous about the big change. And there are others that are very afraid of this new change and most definitely will have a lot of anxiety around AI. I encourage you, no matter where you are in your career, whether you just started your career, you're in the middle of your career, or toward the end of your career, that you embrace AI. You learn it, you use it as a tool, you become a part of this new paradigm. You become a part of the new way of doing business, the new way of working in a work stream alongside digital agents, digital coworkers that are excellent. AI, in a nutshell, gives us immense intelligence. It's like bringing in geniuses to work alongside you. If you were taking an exam, of course, you wouldn't be allowed to do this. If you were taking an exam on mathematics and you can bring in, the world's best mathematicians into a room with you to take the exam, you'd probably score very well in the exam. And that's what you get to bring into your job. You get to bring the entire internet, all the intelligence that's been gathered by these large language models. It enables you to rethink how your company is going to operate. If people have that type of access to information, you're not searching for 5, 10 minutes per business process or task to get something done. You're waiting 1 second for that agent or uh, AI app chatbot to give you the answer. So jobs are going to drastically change, but I would encourage you to be on the side of embracing AI and realizing the opportunity it is, as opposed to being afraid of AI and really being in a state of panic around what it's going to change and how it's going to change it. Young employees that just graduated from college, I hear a lot online and in the news that they're really struggling to get jobs. And I really have empathy for those that spent a lot of time, effort, and expense to get college educated. I hope things get better, and I hope all those folks get a job. Now, younger employees can really embrace AI and have a lot of advantages. I think businesses are really going to lean on the younger generation as we go through this AI paradigm. And the reason I say that is judging from my kids, I have two sons, they're 21 and 25. They've been digital natives their whole life. They've grown up with apps and video games and uh, playing Minecraft with their friends online. And all those things really just enable that generation to be very comfortable and for the new systems and AI to be quite intuitive. So the younger employee that's starting their career, embrace it, continue to learn AI, see how agentic AI is going to benefit that particular business, that industry. Understand how generative AI could really help a business. And these examples could be simple because leadership at companies and maybe the older generation really wants your ability to adapt quickly. They really need you for that. Companies are going to change so fast. They need people that can change quickly with it. So I would encourage you to maintain a positive outlook on the employment market and really showcase how you know AI and how you are very excited about AI, how you're ready to embrace AI to improve the business that you're interviewing at or the business you're working at. I think it could be a huge career enhancer. I'll give you a personal story of my career and something that happened that I'm really glad that I had happen. I graduated in accounting in the mid 1990s and went to work as a corporate accountant. It was a great job with a great company, working with great people. And at that time, we used a character based accounting system, and it was quite old. And we decided to upgrade the software. It was quite interesting because back then, upgrading software took a long time and it cost a lot of money. On top of that, employees were really nervous about it. It was some employees had been doing the same job for 10, 20, 30 years. And the change really sent a lot of fear through the organization. I was new to the company, maybe 2 years into my career. I volunteered to be on the project side and to help deploy this new software and be one of the ones to learn it quickly and help other employees learn the software. Now, I liked software in the mid 90s, and that experience was a good one. Yeah, there was a little bit of excitement around how we were going to run the business going forward. There was going to be a lot of change, but change for me wasn't a big deal. Change was great. I changed when I left my university program and got a job. It was quite different. I couldn't wear a t-shirt and shorts to class or to work. I had to put on a collared shirt. And I worked at a company where we actually wore ties, if you remember those days. And the long and the short of it is both the ability to be flexible, elastic, and really be a person that was ready to take on the next way of computing was a big advantage for me. And I really enjoyed the software project and that experience, which led to me leaving accounting and becoming a consultant because I really enjoyed it. I was a change agent, I was an early adopter, and I really enjoyed it. From a financial perspective, I more than doubled my income when I left my accounting job and went into the software profession. And it was immediate, overnight. I still remember when I got the first offer letter, my wife and I read it, and we were like, oh, great. Felt like we won the lottery. After years of working in the software industry, I again, continued to grow in that area, in that field. And it started by being open, willing to take on the new paradigm that existed in the mid 1990s. As a new employee, you have the same opportunity. You could be one of the first change agents at your company, or if you interview, look for opportunities that are going to put you in that role. And I think businesses are really looking for that. Now let's talk about employees that are maybe in the middle of their careers. These employees maybe have a young family. You've bought a home. You're basically establishing yourself, building a good net worth. You're a very respected member within your company, and a lot of important work streams, you know, report to you, or you're responsible for those work streams. I encourage you to learn AI as quickly as you can and realize that your knowledge to the business you work for, your knowledge of how the company operates, how things get done, what's important to customers, what's important to each line of business. That's incredibly important as we recreate systems and work streams for companies. AI is brilliant in some ways and very incapable in others. If you ask it a very specific coding question, it's brilliant. You ask it mathematics, brilliant. You ask it to build an API to connect two systems, excellent. But it doesn't know your company. It doesn't know the culture, it doesn't know the intricacies of how things get done at your company. It doesn't realize the importance of certain steps, aspects, and key facts of a business process. And you know that information. Now, the combination of knowing what's most important for your company, your industry, and being well informed and knowledgeable on AI is a very, very valuable combination. And your company would actually increase your value if you had both, knowledge bases. So I encourage you to learn it. I put myself through a couple of self-taught lessons around AI, and I started creating software. I started building applications, principally around stock investing, which is one of my passions. I like investing in real estate, stock investing. Professionally, I've been a software professional for a long time. And I built these full blown Python applications, and I'm not a software developer. And I did it using AI. I wanted to either prove or disprove that AI was real. AI could actually do these things that I was hearing journalists say, hey, AI can build code for employees that are really just business people. I'm here to tell you that's a fact. I've built 3 applications. These applications are quite complicated, advanced, and impressive. I built them, but I'm kind of overstating what I did. I communicated with Gemini and Claude, and I communicated what I needed, the requirements, why certain things were important. Those requirements were critical. Getting the application built to the exact specifications of the business that I was trying to run or the use case that I needed were vital, because if you just have code that doesn't really nail the solution, it's just not valuable. So I was able to do that on 3 occasions, built these really impressive apps. And then I moved on and built a full database, relational database. This is something that I'd wanted to do for a long time. And I was able to do that. I built a full relational database. It managed 6, 7 tables, linked them all together. I moved it to the cloud because I built the database on my machine, and I moved it to the cloud. Again, this is something, if you told me I'd do that 5 years ago, I would have thought, yeah, I've got to go back to school, learn database administration, and I'd be able to do that. That wasn't the case. It took me 3 days. And those were 3 days where I worked 2 hours here and 3 hours there. And then I was done. And I showed it to a database administrator that I worked with, and he was in disbelief that I was able to do that. As a person in the middle of your career, and you're a business person, whether you're in accounting, marketing, HR, you're in logistics, you're in customer service, wherever you are in that organization, if you're able to learn what AI can do just from a feature, function, capabilities, how it could search data, and then connect that to the business that you are employed by, that's tremendous value. You would be unlocking tremendous value. And I can only see your employer elevating your value, saying, hey, we got to keep so and so, we got to promote so and so, because that person understands how we can get better quite dramatically, quite quickly. And I know that that seems like a pretty tall tale in some respects. But if you haven't done so, really research AI, really learn it from a business perspective. I think we're all using either ChatGPT or Gemini or some other AI application to search up information. It's quite incredible that we're able to get so many good answers from these applications. And that's just really the surface of what AI can do. Where value really starts getting generated is with agentic AI. The concept of creating AI agents that would work alongside you, that would work underneath you. You would be managing these agents. Learn applications or systems like OpenClaw or Anthropic Cowork. These are agent builders. Your company may actually have an ERP system, CRM system, HCM system that has an agentic AI platform in it. Salesforce has their Agentforce platform. You can build agents in that platform. ServiceNow has a very strong agent platform. Oracle has a rich platform to build agentic AI. They all have these particular features that you can build agents with. You're very valuable at your company. You need to embrace AI, bring it into your work life, and learn it to the point where you really know how you can connect AI with your company to unlock value, and begin to communicate that in your organization. Communicate to others ideas that you have to improve the business. I think you're going to get plenty of attention, especially from senior management that really is looking for ideas on how AI is going to help them run their business better. Now, let me go over the generation that I'm a part of, which is the older generation that's looking to work maybe a little longer before retirement. And what's your role in this new paradigm? At least my observation of my role in this new paradigm. And I think the knowledge, experiences that I have over the course of the last 30 years are very valuable. I definitely know how businesses run. In my software career, I've worked with hundreds of businesses, from very large businesses that are Fortune 50 businesses down to very small businesses. So I know business process quite well. I've also observed how people will adapt to software. I understand to some extent the psychological chasm that people have to cross. They're somewhat afraid of change. They're afraid of new technologies. They're afraid of failure. I think having that wisdom will enable me to help companies, clients, have a good plan around the change they're going to create in their companies by introducing AI. Because I think they could do it in a way where they could minimize the amount of fear and anxiety that gets introduced into a company. As you look at the value and the benefits of AI, and agentic AI being the biggest benefit that we're going to see, really, I'm probably not going to see more value created than agentic AI than anything else that I've observed. That's how optimistic I am about this particular technology. And I lived through the internet. I was an early adopter of the internet. I saw it coming. I knew it was going to be big. It ended up being big. I think agentic AI and AI as a whole is going to be bigger, and it's going to be more valuable for businesses, and it's going to happen quickly. 5 years ago, we weren't talking about AI at all. 3 years ago, it became a story. And now there's a lot of change. Businesses are moving a lot of work streams to AI. I think the older employee can bring the wisdom of how to create this change, how to bring on the change management, how to steer companies and keep them on the right path of serving customers, making their product or service the best in their industry, maintaining competitive advantages and barriers of entry against competition, continuing to guide companies, because that doesn't change. AI is going to make us more efficient, faster, smarter, more capable. But your business got to where you're at for a reason. You create a great product, you deliver a great service. And that doesn't change. That philosophy doesn't change. Your mission statement doesn't change. You just got a new technology that's going to bring a massive uh, level of intelligence and efficiency. And who wouldn't want that? If we study history, we've had monumental changes in technology. The railroad, the automobile. You have these advancements that really changed the way we lived. More importantly, it increased the standard of living for many. And AI is going to do the same. It comes with a lot of change. And that change, until we know how people's lives are going to be impacted, for a period of time, it creates a lot of anxiety. And as I see it reported, I observe that anxiety and really feel for people maybe that have been laid off this year and last year. There's going to be a lot of change. And I encourage, no matter where you are in your career, that you really embrace the next technology paradigm that we're dealing with, which is artificial intelligence. It's going to change everything. And it's going to change it whether we like it or not, whether we adapt to it quickly or we fight it. It's going to change. And like in surfing, if you ride the wave, it's quite exhilarating. You get pushed forward by this big mass of water, and it gets you to accelerate and you glide across the water. It's quite fun. Whereas if you fight it, you realize that the energy and the mass of these waves, you just can't do it. You make no impact on that large wave. And we're dealing with a massive wave in AI, and it's here to stay. The investment in AI is massive. Trillions of dollars are being invested in data centers. The top companies from Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, these companies are betting their businesses on AI because they believe that this is the very next paradigm and that the world's going to be very different in a very short period of time. So I wanted this to be a message or a video that is encouraging. And I really do believe that if you embrace AI, you learn AI, you get skilled at AI, and you use AI as a tool, your career will flourish. It's actually good news that AI is here because it enables those who are willing to pick it up and start using this new tool set. It gives them a great opportunity to be one of those change agents and a real successful person going forward. That's it for my video. Thanks for watching. Please provide any comments you have. And if you'd like to talk to me about AI, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to schedule a call with you, or maybe we can interact over email. Thanks again for watching.